Hi everyone, Igor from Vinous Reverie here, and it's time for the July Wine Club overview. And I think as usual, a lot of fun selections, focusing on international wines. So first we're going to start with the Adventurous Club, and the white wines from the Adventurous Club. So the first white wine is from Fattoria La Pupille, which is a famous winery in the Maremma sub-region of Tuscany. It's along the Tuscan coast where the Super Tuscans are from. And this winery, it's run by a mother and daughter. They're one of the first wineries to make great, renowned Super Tuscans. Right there, you know, with Sassicaia, Ornellaia, there, La Sapredi is kind of one of those benchmark Super Tuscans. But this is a fun kind of white Super Tuscan. It's a blend of Sauvignon Blanc, Petit Montseng, Traminer, which is the same one as Gewürztraminer, and the last one is Semillon. Yeah. And it's like a really nice combination because you get kind of like this heady floral notes on the nose from Gewürztraminer, and then in the mouth it's a great balance of kind of waxiness that comes from Semillon, but because Sauvignon Blanc is the biggest part of the blend, it's really brisk and refreshing, like a great unique white Super Tuscan. Alright, the second wine is fun as well, and this is the wine that will go both in the white club and the mixed club. It's Silvaner, which is a grape, mostly grown in Germany and in the Alps, in the Alta Adige in Italy. So this is from the Rheingau region in Germany, from Corvus Culture. And Silvaner, this is another great wine, very brisk, refreshing, high acidity wine. And Silvaner is kind of claimed to fame. It's one of very few wines, period, that pairs with asparagus, a food that's kind of notoriously hard to pair with wine. So if you guys are going to have asparagus dishes, here's the perfect wine for you. Or it's delicious on its own. Alright. The first red wine that also goes in the mixed club is another really fun wine. And it's a great example of how certain wines go in and out of fashion. So this wine, this is Malbec from Cahors, which is south of Bordeaux region in southwest France. And this is the birthplace of Malbec. The Romans loved this wine, and they actually called it the blood grape of Cahors because of when you pour it in a glass, it's so dark and it's so big. The tannins are big. This is not like Argentinian Malbec that has medium tannins, but these are big tannins on this wine. And this is 100% Malbec. Frequently in Cahors they blend in a little Merlot to soften the Malbec, but this is 100% varietal. And kind of little backstory on that. So obviously the Romans were enamored with this wine. In the 13th century, that region was kind of considered the London of its day, where it was the center of like financial businesses. So all these centers, whenever that happens throughout history, people exchange valuables, which is wine. So this was obviously a highly regarded wine. And then through the Middle Ages, a lot of palaces had dinners with beer. And then throughout the ages, obviously, like wars, pests, just the wine went out of fashion. Now most people haven't even heard of this wine. So this is, a good example of something that used to be great and tried to be great again. So that's the first wine. So it goes in the mixed club and the red wine club. And then the second wine for the red wine club is another fun wine. So this is from Vern de Monanga from Navarra region. So Navarra region is in north Spain, and typically makes very everyday drinking Grenache, Tempranillo, rosé wines. Some are regarded, but mostly they're not that highly regarded wines. But the winemaker here, he's kind of enamored with Bordeaux wines, and he planted Merlot and Cabernet on his vineyard. So this is one of the few exceptions from the area that actually uses international grapes. But he's made like an excellent example of this wine, and a really cool aspect of it is the vines for the Merlot came from Chateau Petrus, which is the most famous winery in the world that uses Merlot. So that's kind of cool, and he made like an excellent wine with that. So I think this is another unusual wine that's kind of par for the course for the Adventurous Club. Alright, so this is one for the Adventurous side. And now for the High Society Club. So that's the one that includes 2 red wines. This is a Pinot Noir from Dog Point. So Dog Point, maybe you've seen it around. It's one of, I think it's easy to say, one of the top 5 best producers of Sauvignon Blanc in New Zealand. Renowned Sauvignon Blanc. Year in and year out, they get the highest scores. The winemaker from Dog Point came from Cloudy Bay, which was kind of like the original great Sauvignon Blanc producer from New Zealand. But their Pinots are just as great as well. And they're actually showing some of the old world character. The fruit doesn't dominate like a lot of the California Pinots would do. Even a lot of other New Zealand Pinots would do. And Jessica Robinson, she actually compared it to the wines from Côte du Monde, which is kind of high praise. And this wine, a fantastic wine. So if you guys like Pinot Noirs, I would suggest this wine. And obviously, if you're a club member, you'll get this wine. And then finally, another wine that I was really excited to get in the High Society Club. Typically, wines like this would be in the 1%er club, and it's Margaux. So Margaux is one of the famous villages in Bordeaux on the left bank, and especially it's a Cabernet-dominated wine. So this is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and a little bit of Petit Bordeaux from a small winery, family-owned winery that they've owned for close to 100 years. And it's a father and daughter operation right now. And one thing about it is it actually comes to some of the vines that's used for this wine, the grapes for this wine, it come from vines that are almost 100 years old, which is very unusual for Bordeaux region. So yeah, and it comes from the highly touted 2016 vintage. Probably of all the wines that I just showcased, this is the one that would benefit from being in the cellar. But nonetheless, this is an exciting selection for the wine club. So, fun selections. I hope you guys who are in the club will enjoy it. Those who are not in the club, I think if you join the club, you will be enjoying some fun wines. And some of these wines are just for sale if you guys just want to stop by the store. Alright, I hope everybody has a nice day. Bye.